Your heart races, your chest tightens, and you constantly feel on edge, like you're walking on eggshells. That's how it feels to be around a narcissist. And it's not just in your head. This is actually caused by cortisol, which is your stress hormone. And that's what we're going to unpack here today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more on healing from narcissistic abuse and learning more about narcissism. And stick around until the end because I have a gift for you. Okay, so what is cortisol? Let's get a little sciencey here. So cortisol is actually our body's stress hormone. It is released by your adrenal glands. And it's typically released during fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode, when you feel like you are in danger. And it is healthy to have little bursts of cortisol here and there. This is why we have it in our body. It is to help protect us during fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode. But in constant doses, if we are getting too much of it, it can actually become toxic for us. According to Harvard Health Publishing, having extreme, constant, high levels of cortisol can lead to anxiety, insomnia, high blood pressure, and even memory issues. Is any of this ringing a bell for you? All right, so let's break this down into two parts. When you are with the narcissist, and then the aftermath. I will tell you in my own experience, I really experienced the stress of this during the aftermath, when things imploded, when I was really experiencing the imploding of my life is when I started to notice so many of these signs and symptoms in myself. Some of them I saw in hindsight from when I was in the relationship, but pay attention to everything that I'm about to share with you, how cortisol shows up and impacts you when you're with a narcissist and then after, and see what resonates for you. When you're with a narcissist, you're basically under constant stress. It's that feeling of like you're walking on eggshells. You're anticipating their next adult temper tantrum or narcissistic rage. You're navigating them giving you the silent treatment, the manipulating, and the gaslighting. So you constantly have this kind of level of elevated stress, anticipating all of these things that you might be experiencing and enduring on a day-to-day basis. You're also experiencing an emotional roller coaster ride with all of these things, which is naturally going to create a hormonal imbalance in your body. It's really leading to hormonal chaos in your body. And not only is your cortisol being affected, your dopamine is being affected by the intermittent reinforcement that happens through the abuse cycle that happens with narcissistic abuse, which is the idealization phase, and then the devaluation phase, and then the discard and the hoover. And that just goes on and on and on repeat. This creates a dopamine and a cortisol tug of war that really goes back and forth through that whole abuse cycle. So here's an example. We know that narcissists are really inconsistent, or I guess somewhat consistent in the praise one day and then the next day completely devaluing you, right? So the idealization and the devaluing, they might sing your praises one day and then completely tear you down the next, or it might even happen in the same day. But when that's happening, this constant praise and then punish, this is giving you these constant little cortisol spikes, which is not healthy or sustainable. Okay, and then how does this show up after the fallout? Even after you have gone no contact with the narcissist, this kind of behavior can continue. Oftentimes after narcissistic abuse, people become hypervigilant. There can be a lot of triggers. This can happen through texts, memories, dreams, social media, and all of these triggers keep you in that hypervigilance state. And if your body continues to be hypervigilant and think that there is constant threat, that is going to keep those cortisol levels increased. And all of this leads to symptoms like adrenal fatigue, insomnia, digestive issues, and even brain fog. Things can feel a little bit fuzzy. There's an interesting reference from the book called The Body Keeps the Score. And what it talks about is that trauma is not the story of what happened to you back then. It's the current imprint of that pain in your mind and your body. Okay, so now we've talked about how it shows up when you're in the relationship, what's happening with cortisol, what it is, how it shows up after the end of the relationship. Let's talk about what we can do about it. How do we regulate our cortisol and heal? Well, one of the things I actually teach in just about every single keynote that people love, for whatever reason, men love it the most, it's like the favorite thing that resonates with them, is box breathing. So box breathing, if you literally think about a box like this and you count 4, 4, 4, 4, it's you inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. And you do that as many times as you deem necessary until you feel more centered, grounded, relaxed, focused. That is what it's designed to do. And it's actually been scientifically and clinically proven to reduce cortisol, lower blood pressure. It increases your focus, your calm, your clarity. I have a trigger of traffic jams. If I'm sitting in traffic or someone cuts me off, that's often when I'll do box breathing. And what I love about it is you can do it anytime, anywhere, and nobody has to know. So you can do it when you're triggered. You can do it as a morning or an evening or a daily ritual of some sort. And I think part of the reason why people love this so much and why it works and how we know it works is professional athletes use this. The military uses this. And so this is not a new thing, but it's one of my favorite things. So again, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. And you can do 1 round or as many rounds as you need. So that is one of my favorite things to do to help lower your cortisol levels and reduce that stress that you are experiencing. Other things you can do: remove the narcissist from your life. Either go no contact or block them, or limited contact, depending on the situation or scenario. So that's one thing, like I said, I've eliminated narcissists from my life, and that has been very beneficial for my overall well-being. You can also do things like get in nature, go for a walk, do yoga, meditate. These are all really great things to help you connect with yourself, which is a really powerful step. Journaling is also something that's really powerful. That could be a form of meditation, really, where you are connecting your mind and your body and writing down your experiences. Therapy. Trauma therapy can be something that can really help you better understand and work through and move through this process on your healing journey. And then another thing is sleep and nutrition. And I talk about this in Nurture in my journal, and I sometimes talk about this in my keynotes. So nurture and eating healthy food and, really taking care of ourselves, paying attention to what we're consuming, not even just what we're putting in our body, but what we're consuming in TV. What are we watching? What are you consuming in social media? Is that activating your cortisol levels, or is it calming your cortisol levels? So really paying attention to that, creating routines. Again, having good sleep habits. Maybe it's, reading before bed instead of being on a screen. There's a lot of different things that we can do, but sleep is so beneficial and for so many reasons, but especially for helping to regulate your cortisol. I just want to remind you, if you have experienced any of these symptoms or can really relate to this, you're not broken. Your body's actually doing exactly what it was designed to do, and that's protecting you from harm. But by taking these steps and going on this healing journey, what you can do is start to teach your body that it's safe again. And that starts with trusting yourself, taking some of these actions to really reconnect with yourself that will eventually reduce those cortisol levels. I would love for you to comment of any of these things that are helping you. Try a few rounds of box breathing, Put a comment, one word in the comments below of how that made you feel. Was it more calm, centered, relaxed, focused, grounded, any of those things? And if you start to incorporate it into your daily practice, that would be wonderful. Like I said at the beginning, I do have a free gift for you. I will put a link to it in the show notes or put freebie in the comments, and I will send you a direct link to a free PDF downloadable guide on things that you can do to help support you in reducing your cortisol levels from narcissistic abuse. If this helped you understand a little bit better what's been going on in your body or what was going on in your body, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more, and check the description for that free tool on reducing cortisol after narcissistic abuse. And if you liked this video, you might like this one. I can't wait to see you next time.